we're starting.
All right, guys, welcome to Learn Jam 2018. Woo! We're going to start out with GameMaker. And so I have a GitHub that I just put in the Discord. And also, this is on our club repository. We should do more stuff with that. Anyway, so this is, if you click that link in the Discord, you'll get this stuff. And this will basically show you everything I'm about to say. So if you forget it later or you get lost during the tutorial, check this out. If you're still lost, even after looking at this, just raise your hand and I'll give you a hand. Other than that, let's get started. So I'll be referencing that as well myself so I can remember what the heck I'm doing. Okay, so let's open up GameMaker Studio 2. I'm going to close some of the windows I have here. All right.
Does everybody have GameMaker Studio 2 installed that wants to follow along?
Yeah, GameMaker is actually a very quick install, so we can run through that real quick if someone wants to help it get installed. Anyone? Anyone not have it installed that wants it? Oh, what's that?
I don't have it.
All right.
You want to learn it? A little bit.
All right. Let's go to Yo Games.
Put a T in there,
Yo Games. I can't do anything right. Anyway, get GameMaker. Trial, free. So if you feel like you want to buy this, by the way, you can pay $99 or $66 on Steam because it's on sale right now, or you can pay $40 for 1 year of it. Those are your options. Everything else is free. This one, and you can just follow along with the trial version today. No issue. All right, so I'll just start off with just an intro to the basics of GameMaker. So over here on the right, we have the resource tree. I'll show you here we got some sprites and other stuff, but I am going to just make a new project. So I'll be starting with the same place as you guys. Space Invaders class.
Hey,
Hmm?
did you pick drag and drop or GameMaker language?
GameMaker language, because drag and drop is silly. It's just the same thing, but you type snap blocks instead of typing code. It's just a more cumbersome version of the same thing. So who wants to follow along and really has like limited or no programming experience? No one really? Okay, so I guess everyone has some programming experience, so this will be easy. If you don't have any programming experience, you should be able to follow along as well, but that's good that more people have it. Let's see, so this is the resource tree. We got the categories for sprites, objects, and rooms are the ones we're going to use for now. Sprites are just the pictures in your game. So here, I'm going to right click and hit create sprite. Now we've got a sprite. I'm going to click edit image, and this isn't Katie's art class, so I am just going to fill it, and there's our player. I'm going to name it.
Did you click to fill in the sprite?
Oh, I clicked F or the paint bucket, picked myself a color, oops, and filled it up. So there's our first sprite. How's it going? SPR underscore blah blah blah. So I'm going to name it SPR underscore player. It's good to name these things so you don't get confused. And now I'm going to zoom out because that's, what's that? Oh yeah, the other thing. You're going to click top left here. You're going to move it to middle center. So what that does is when you say that this thing will be at a coordinate in like the XY grid, this is the point that will actually be at that coordinate. You don't want the top left corner of the coordinate. You want the middle of the box at that coordinate. If that's confusing, just hit middle center and just do it. Let's see, what do we want to do next? Make a sprite. All right, next we're going to make an object. So we're going to right click on object, create object. And first thing we're going to do where it says no sprite, we're going to click it and give it SPR player. Now we're going to name this OBJ underscore player. Great.
Hey Tabor, what's the difference between a sprite and an object?
Great question, Jake. So a sprite is just a little picture, maybe an animation. It isn't a real, like, tangible thing in the game world. To make this object a real thing in the game world, I'm going to close the object for now. The objects are where you put most of your code. or you really put them in scripts. But anyway, you put them in the object, and the objects are what run the code. So we're not going to add any yet, but we're going to go to rooms, and then we're going to drag object player in from the right. And I'm just going to put him at the bottom in the middle of the screen. All right. I'm also going to name the room. I'm going to name it just RM Play. All right. So now I am going to run the game for the first time. So you can press this play button up here or press F5 on your keyboard. And we have a thing. The object is there on the black background. It doesn't do anything yet, but it does exist. So we've made an object. Everyone following along so far? Pretty simple so far?
A green square in a black room when they hit play. If not, feel free to raise your hand and ask me questions at any point, by the way.
Yeah.
We'll come around and help you.
Okay, what's the question? Someone has a question? No? Okay. All right, so now we're going to add some code to the player object. So you're going to go back here, double click on object player, and now you're going to click add event. You're going to want to go to step here and click step here. And now we get a little code window. You can hit maximize here to make it actually take up the window. And so here I'm going to say in the little description comment, controls player movement. And I have the stuff you want to write here. You could theoretically copy and paste it. Type it, you'll learn more. Anyway, so what we're going to put is, again, the comments don't actually do anything. They're just there so that people know what they mean. Move left. And so if keyboard check.
Hey, what does keyboard check do?
I'm going to explain it
Okay.
in a sec. Keyboard VK left. All right, so what this line is, does everyone know how an if works?
Kidding.
Okay. You know, some people might not have programmed before. It's all good. All right, so if keyboard check VK left, that means if the left arrow key is being pressed, do the thing in the if. And so what we're going to do is x equals x minus 1. Now we're going to do basically the same thing, but if VK, right, x equals x plus 1. So now we're going to run the game again, and we have an incredibly slow moving square. Great job. Everyone getting this so far? Yeah?
Where is x defined?
So that's a good question. X is essentially defined where we place the object in the room. So right now, the object's x coordinate would be 512 in the middle of the room.
And you're just like using it. Like you didn't make the variable anywhere. It's just magic there.
I mean, the same thing would work in Unity, wouldn't it?
Right. In Unity you grab the transform.
Right, you grab it.
So
You just
where-
don't have
where
to
you're
grab it.
getting from. Okay.
It just kind of exists. I have a word of warning about that later, to just don't use the physics engine variables. Because people will just use the physics engine variables and not actually use the physics engine, and then things will happen that they don't understand.
Very quick.
Yeah, Nick.
Isn't it true that in GameMaker, the x coordinate when you're editing an object is actually linked to the object? It's not a global variable.
Yes. So inside the object,
The x coordinate when you're editing an object only actually exists if the object exists.
true. That's a good point. So, I forget where I was now. All right, so our square was really slow when we played the game. We're going to try one thing to make that faster. This isn't a code thing, but it's a thing that people should do. We're going to go to Options, Main, and changing it from 30 frames a second to 60 frames a second. So the step code runs once per frame. So it'll move twice as fast now. Still going to be really slow. But make your game 60 FPS. It's just, why wouldn't you? I don't know why it's not the default, but do this in like everything you make. You can set it as default. I don't remember how right now.
I think that is the default now.
It'll set it for this game, but if I make a new project, it won't be. You can set it so it will do that. I don't know why it's not the default.
It should be.
Anyway, it should be. All right, so I'm going to run it again. Okay, it's faster and smoother, but still really slow. So we're going to, yes, Jared. So you can click either the X on the sprite editor window, like the top right at that. Found it? Cool. All right. So next, what we're going to do is we're going to do. All right. We're going to make some new code on the player object. So we're going to do add event. We're going to go back to the player object, add event, create, the little light bulb. So this code runs once when this object is created. So as soon as our room starts that our object is in, this code will run. And so what I'm going to write here is x_speed equals 5. Okay. So now you might be tempted, ooh, look, speed is special. It turns green. Let's use that. No! If something turns green and you don't know what it does, don't use it. I don't like the GameMaker physics engine. That's me personally. It has its uses. But if you don't know how to use it, just don't use it. Especially for something this simple, we don't need a physics engine. So just use, x speed, speed underscore like x. Maybe it's just like x speed. There's another version of that that's green. But anyway, this one is safe because it didn't turn green. It's not a built-in variable. So next thing we're going to do, initialize variables. If I spell things wrong, just bear with me.
Hey Tabor.
Yeah, Jake.
What's the difference between the create and step event, and what do they do?
I said this before, but the create event runs once when the object is created. The step event runs every frame. So now it runs 60 frames a second. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is, so I'm going to move some stuff around a little bit. Now you could just change this to x minus move speed, or the x speed, but the way I like to do it, so by the way, var here just makes it so that this dir variable won't exist after we leave the step event. So it doesn't carry over to the next frame, doesn't continue to exist in the object. It just stays that way.
Wait, Tabor, why is the var?
Because not JavaScript, because GML.
So if you just did dir equals 0,
Yes, it would carry over. Which I could just do this and everything would continue to work, but I guess this saves like the 1 byte of memory, I guess. I don't know.
It doesn't actually instantialize it.
Yeah,
It
it's
after the object doesn't.
yeah, and also if you're doing scripts, Christian, it'll stop existing outside of the script. So it can be very useful. What was I doing? All right, and so I'm going to change this to dir minus equals 1, and then dir plus equals 1. For anyone that doesn't know, the plus equals is just shorthand for dir equals dir plus 1. If anyone didn't know that. And now I'm going to actually move the player by doing x plus equals dir times x speed. All right, we're going to run it again. If anyone needs me to go back to that, let me know. But he moves much faster now. All right, coolio. So everyone good with that so far?
Can you go back to create event for 1 second?
No problem.
Thanks.
Just x speed equals 5 is what we have. All right, so just so I know, like, who is following along? Okay, cool. Good number of people. Just wanted to know. You guys are doing good. You don't have that many questions. What do I want to do next? Okay, so there is one other weird thing, though. If we just hold left, the boy keeps going. And he will just go infinitely and forever. And we don't really want the player to just leave the screen. So, how did I write this before? Okay. So here's, all right. So like we said, the GameMaker is an XY grid. Don't worry about y right now because we'll get there. But we have, over here is 0 on the x-axis. Over here is like 1024 is the default room width. So if we want to keep him inside the room, we're going to do a simple check. If bbox left. All right, so what bbox left is, it's... Whoa. Hey, James.
Master.
All right. So what bbox left is here, so you know how we centered the sprite at the middle? What bbox left is, it's the left side of the sprite. Not the middle, but the leftmost edge. So if the bbox left is less than 0, then we're going to, and I did something clever and I don't remember what it was. X minus equals bbox left. So say the edge of the object is out on the side 3 pixels. bbox left will be -3. We'll subtract -3 from -3 and end up at 0. And now if we have bbox right is greater than room width. So if it's outside the right edge of the room, Jared, do you have a question? Yeah, I was going to. But good call. Thank you for reminding me. X, let me make sure I write it the same way. I did X plus equals room width minus, wait, do I have that backwards?
You're missing an underscore. Room underscore width.
Yeah. Minus bbox right. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. All right, cool. All right, so what Jared was telling me to talk about, which is a very good point. If you're ever confused, like, what's this bbox left thing? And you can highlight it, press F1. You can hit allow access here. GameMaker will take you to the GameMaker, what is this indentation? Anyway, GameMaker will take you to the docs about what is bbox left. The variable returns the position along the x-axis within the room of the left-hand bounding box. So, does that make sense to everyone what bbox left is? Does anyone want me to explain that more? No? Good? All right, cool. All right, so if we run this again, let's see. He stays on the left side, stays on the right side, so he doesn't leave the room anymore. We have the general motion down. It works. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is make a little bullet we can shoot. We're making a Space Invaders game, if I didn't make that clear already. All right, so what do we need? We need a new sprite, and it's going to be, I'll make it white, but, oh shoot. So I made it white, and now I'm going to name it SPR_bullet, and I'm going to make it 8 by 32. So I'm going to click here, uncheck this box so it's not doesn't stay a square. 8 by 32. All right, now we got a little thing. Same thing to do middle center. All right, so everyone good on that? Alrighty, now what are we doing next? All right, so now we just need to make the bullet do things. So we're going to make an object to make the bullet do anything. Create an object. I'm going to call obj_player_bullet. All right, I'm going to add an event. Which one do I want to add first? All right, I'm going to in create, just like we had before, init speed, y speed equals -10. Bear with me for one moment on why it's negative. On step, we're going to move bullet, and we're going to do y plus equals y_speed. All right. Whoops, I'm not going to run the game yet. I'm going to just to test it. Oh, I forgot one important thing, to set the sprite. So now the sprite is what we'll see to represent this object. Just to test it, I'm going to put this there. And the bullet works as intended. We just need to shoot it from the object now. So we're going to go close this.
So why?
Oh, thank you. The reason why y speed is negative is in GameMaker, the top left corner is 0, 0 in the coordinate. And as you move down the screen, y goes up. I know it seems really unintuitive, but it really does make a lot of sense. It makes things easier in a lot of cases. So you just got to get used to that kind of, and you start to see why it's like that, because it just makes certain things easier. Because, for example, say bottom left was 0, 0, and now I want to make the room smaller. 0, 0 just moved, and so that would be weird. So top left is where that happens. Alrighty, where was I? Do-do-do-do. We got that. Da-da-da. All right, so the next thing we're going to do, so some people would do it by doing event key pressed space. Personally, I like to just put this kind of stuff in the step event because I think that makes more sense. So we're going to do shoot bullet.
Hey, Tabor, could you hypothetically, if you wanted to, make a different bit of code within the step event and put it there?
I don't understand the question.
Put in another code snippet so you don't have all of the code in one snippet.
I could make a script.
You can also make a separate. I think he means like a separate step event.
Not
Oh, you
really.
can't do that in GMS? Okay.
No.
Like in 1.4, you could have a step event and then a whole bunch of different code blocks.
Yes, that is. I understand what you're saying now. There is no equivalent of that, really.
However, they did make like crushable.
Yes. So here, I was actually just about to say that. If you say like want to separate your movement code, so here I'll write at region movement. And I'll go down here. Move player. Hashtag end region. Region.
EMD.
Wait,
And not M.
Oh, emmed. I didn't have my glasses on. All right, there we go. So if you want to do that, now you can actually collapse this if you want.
Okay, that's pretty neat.
So that's kind of the biggest.
When you click on add event, you went up to step. Step was an option. So like, can you not make another step?
You can also make
Step just brings you back to step. So yeah, in GameMaker 1.4, so basically in GameMaker 1.4, you can't turn off drag and drop mode, and you just drag the right code block into everything.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, you lose the ability to have the separated segments, which was kind of nice, but you don't have to just look at the drag and drop interface all the time. So, plus and con. You had a question?
What do you write in the step code
For bullet? It's very simple, just one line. Y speed equals -10 in create, sorry, and then Y plus equals Y speed. Yeah, any questions about what to put where or why you put something somewhere, feel free to ask. All right, so here, I'm gonna just, since we're talking about that, I'll make this a region. Hashtag end region. All right, so key, yeah, yes?
What do you do if you can't change your speed from 30 to 60?
I've never seen that. All right, so either change it to 60 or just double all the numbers and it'll still work. So yeah, if you guys are playing it and you're like, I want it to move faster, I think it's too fast, I think the bullet's too slow, you can change the numbers of the speed and now your game is different and it works still. So keep that in mind if you want to do that. Do you need help figuring out the room speed, Jared?
What? Yeah. The apply button was hidden.
So it didn't work? What?
No, you couldn't see the apply button.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay. All right. So we have shoot bullet if keyboard check pressed VK space. So the way these keyboard functions work, just they return true if the button is pressed and they return false if it's not pressed. What the underscore pressed here means, which we didn't have before, is if you hold the left arrow key, you want to keep moving to the left. This way for you guys. If you hold space, you don't want to just fire an infinite stream of bullets. That would be a lot. So we check keyboard check pressed to ask, was it pressed on this frame? All right, so what we're going to do is instance create depth. Don't worry about the depth part too much, but I'll talk about it a little bit. So I'm going to set I'm going to set the X to just X, so it'll appear in the middle of the player object. The Y to B-box top. And I'm going to set the depth to just 0. So depth is, if something is deeper in the screen, so it has a higher depth, it'll be under more things. And if it has a lower depth, so you can set depth to negative numbers, it'll be on top of other things. So if you have two sprites and they have different depths, that'll determine who's on top. So that's good to know. We just don't need it right now. All right, and now object is going to be obj underscore player underscore bullet. All right, so I'm going to run it again. And we can go left and right. Oh, so I'm going to delete the bullet that's already existing there because we don't want that. And I can't hold the spacebar to shoot it, but I could do this. And that's a little bit OP too. So we're going to add just a short recharge on how frequently you can fire a bullet. First thing, I'm going to delete this bullet because we don't need it. Everyone doing good so far? Anyone need help? All right, cool. You guys are good. Ba-dum-bum-bum. Yes, Richard.
When you make the bullet, do you now have a way to check the size and the other properties of the bullet?
Yes. So I could do something like var bullet equals this, and I can now do what is it? What do you got? Show debug message. Show debug message is good to know, by the way. Bullet.x I think should work fine. All right, so I'm going to drag this up and show the output. It's showing the bullet X, which also happens to be the player X in this case. But, yes. So you can access the variables inside the object you just created. Question?
I wasn't really paying attention. What does the region do?
Oh, region, it's just comment stuff. It's just collapsible. It doesn't really do anything. It's just for organization. Okay. So, show debug message is good to know. Like if you're like, why the heck is my character over here? It's just, it's just a printout. But I'm going to delete it for now. I'll keep the var bullet. We don't need to reference it again, but if you did, you could. All right, cool. Everyone good with a shooting guy going back and forth? Boop-a-doo. All right.
How do you put the bullet in the center of the player?
Did you hit middle center on the sprite for the bullet? Yeah. So if you didn't do that, it'll the top left corner will exist at the middle of the player, which will look weird. So yeah, that's why you center basically everything in GameMaker. Yeah, anything that moves, you really want to center. Just makes things easier. Alrighty, moving on. We're going to shooting the bullet. All right, we're going to add the recharge. So we're going to add a few more lines to the create for the player. We're going to add shot recharge equals 30 and shot recharge equals 30 and shot charged equals true. All right, so why are we going to do this? So what we're going to do in a second is make it so that the player can only shoot a bullet every 30 frames, which is half a second. So there's a delay between them. Again, if you find that too long or too short, you can change the numbers. So what we're going to do here, we're going to go back to the step event. And after we create this, we're going to do shot charged equals false. So now if the player tried to shoot again in the next frame, they couldn't. Oh, actually, they still could because we didn't add the and shot charged. So this will check in the if the button was pressed and the shot is charged, and that variable is true. And so, well, now they'd never be able to fire a second shot, so what we're going to do is basically we're going to rig an alarm, alarm 0, and you're going to write it like that. Alarm 0 equals shot recharge. I'm going to name that shot recharge time or something, but anyway. Now we're going to add a new event called alarm 0. And this event is going to trigger when that alarm hits 0. So what's going to happen is that alarm is set to 30, right, with our variable. And then every frame is going to tick down 30, 29, 28, 27, all the way down to 0. And when it hits 0, it's going to do this event. Recharge shot. What's up, Jake?
No, nothing.
Okay, cool.
I'm waiting to test something when you launch the
Charged
game next.
equals true. All right, let's see if that worked. Cool. Everyone doing good?
Basically, just mash it. Right? There you go. All right, ready? Check this out. Locke's having a weird bug where if he holds both keys, he can't shoot.
That's an interesting issue. Huh. I don't know why. Lock's having some bug. So yeah, if you hold both keys, you don't move, by the way, because dir gets added to and then subtracted from, so it's 0, and the move speed times 0 is 0, so the x doesn't change. That's why I write it that way, so x doesn't get incremented, then decremented. It's just kind of cleaner that way. Also, if you end up working with more complex movement, it's nice to do things like that. I don't know why he's having that. Is it like nested in one of the ifs or something?
No, it's completely freestanding. I even moved it above all the movement code, and it still doesn't want to do it.
Wait, what? Maybe it's a keyboard.
Okay, let's try this.
Yeah, maybe it's just a keyboard issue. I wouldn't know.
It's not a Mac.
I mean, stupid Mac. Anyway, weird. All right, so next thing we're gonna do, we're moving along nice here. We're gonna add some enemies. So we're gonna make a new sprite for our enemy. Create sprite. I'm gonna make it the same size as the player, and it's going to be white. I'm gonna name it SPR enemy. All right. Oh, and don't forget, middle center. All right, cool. All right, and I'm going to make another object, 2 more objects, obj underscore enemy. Going to give it the enemy sprite. And I'm also going to make another object, obj underscore enemy underscore bullet. All right, so, and I'm going to set the enemy bullet to be the same sprite as the player's bullet. So, yes, you can reuse sprites between objects. It's not like a one-to-one mapping. I just thought that would be useful to know. All right, and so we're actually going to go to the player bullet, and we could have hit duplicate to get a similar looking object, but I'm going to actually, because you can do this, copy event and paste it here. And I'm going to set Y speed to +10, so it will move down the screen. I'm going to just copy and paste event. If I was making this game like for game jam or something, I might consider making these like maybe the same object or making them more inherit from a different object. But for simplicity's sake, I'll do it this way. All right, cool. Wait a second. Oh yeah. All right, so next. Oh, I forgot one thing about the bullets that I meant to do. So right now, if you shoot bullets, they'll continue to go up and up forever, just like our player would go left and right forever before we made him stay in the room. So what we want to happen is, I'm on the player's bullet right now. If B-box bottom, so the bottom edge of our sprite, is less than 0. So if you go past the top, your Y is negative. Then we're going to do instance underscore destroy. All right, now we will be destroyed. You won't actually be able to see it really, but the instances are getting destroyed now instead of continuing up forever past the screen. Question, Jared? Okay, you looked inquisitive.
I was trying to make a joke.
Okay. Okay. So I'm also going to go to the enemy bullet, and I'm going to change this to if B-box top is greater than room height, then destroy it. All right, coolio. So, we have a question? Sorry, which one? Enemy bullet. All right, so I'll explain this better. If the B-box top, so the top of the bullet coming down, goes past the edge of the screen, the bullet will just cease to exist because it's out of the game. All right. What are we doing next? All right, now we're going to make some movement for our enemy. All right, so we're just going to have enemies that wobble back and forth, so they'll be a little bit harder to hit because you got to anticipate where they'll be when your bullet gets up there. But we're going to make it pretty simple. So we're going to make init variables x speed equals 2. So that's how fast they'll move back and forth. It's not quite as fast as the player. Drift dist, that's what I'm calling it, will be 50. So it'll move back and forth 50 pixels on either side once we're done implementing this. And then the last one, dir equals -1. Similar to the dir variable on the player, this means when it starts, it'll be moving to the left. Okay, so there's the, whoopsie. All right, there's the create event for the enemy. Now we're going to move on to the step event. So what's the step event do? I'm going to just explain it with this stuff up here so you can still see the create code if you need it. So it's going to move x plus equals dir times x speed, just like the player. And what it's going to do if the absolute value of x minus x start. Now what's x start? It's the x position the object was at when it was created. So if the difference between x and x start, so if you're 50 pixels or more away from where you started in either direction, you're going to switch the direction you're moving. Yes. So we could have made our own custom variable at the create event, but it's built in. Okay. Might have also noticed this won't be pixel perfect. It can go past 50 pixels, but whatever. It's a quick tutorial. I did? Where? I'm curious now. Oh, enemies.
Sorry, you said you did it quickly, right?
I
2
did.
hours?
Something like
Pretty
that.
fast.
All right, to the step event, we're going to actually write this stuff. I'm going to copy and paste it. I know I said not to do that, but I wrote it in the first place, so ha. All right, so does this make sense to everyone? You still need more time to copy it down? Anything? Do you want me to go back to the create event? Oh, I didn't add any enemies yet. Silly me. So I'm going to go to the room, and I'm going to just drag in some enemies. I think I'm going to do it like this. Okay. Doopy-doo. Doopy-doo. Okay, so we got a few enemies now. Now I'm going to run the game. And cool, they wobble back and forth. They don't die when they get hit by bullets yet, and they don't shoot bullets of their own. So that's the next two things. So you know, let's do, I'm going to go out of order from the README, but let's do this first. So we're going to go to Object Enemy, add a new event, and we're going to go to the collision category. So when it collides with Object Player Bullet, we're going to die. So we're going to do instance underscore destroy, and this destroys ourself. Before that, we're going to instance underscore destroy other. Other is the bullet we collided with. So the bullet is going to disappear, and the enemy is just going to disappear. So let's see if that worked out. Okay, so now we have enemies that die. Bang! Yo. All right. Ba-dum-bum-bum. What was I doing? All right, now.
Bullet?
Oh, sorry, what's that?
That's in the bullet.
No, this is in the object enemy. Honestly, if you put the same event in the bullet on collide with enemy, it would still work, but I'd recommend putting it here. Because say we wanted to add like more lives or like just more health to the enemies, we would like have a variable health, decrement it here, and if it's 0, then destroy it. I'm not going to do that right now. We're kind of already a bit over, so I don't think we're going to get into that, but we have a groundwork for this game. Okay, so now we're going to make so the enemies shoot their guns. So in preparation for that, I'm going to add basically the same thing to the player. If you collide with the enemy bullet, die. Now we would probably want to give the player some health. You know what? I'll do that quick. And create health equal. No, not health. It's green. I don't like it. HP. There we go. Equals. Yeah, there's built-in like health and live systems in GameMaker too.
Hey, Tabor.
Yeah.
Sorry, one second. How do you edit the size of the sprite?
Good question. So I'll go up to the sprite here. So my sprite bullet, you click size right here, and you uncheck maintain aspect ratio if you don't want it, and you can change how big things are.
Sorry, thanks.
No problem. No. Oh, and so if you ever like lose the windows like this, which can happen a lot, you can right-click Windows. You can either show all, Windows close all, or pick the one you want. So I want it to go to the player. So HP equals 3. When it collides with an enemy bullet, HP, my goodness, I can't type today. HP minus, that just subtracts 1. Instance destroy other. And then if HP equals 0, instance destroy yourself. So just in case anyone's confused about this, instance destroy is a function, and when you give it an instance, so any like object existing in the game, it'll destroy that object, that instance. And then if you call it with no arguments, it'll destroy itself because the default argument is ID, which is the instance that is running. So you can literally put ID, it shows it down here, and it does the same exact thing. Or or you can just leave it blank. They both do the same thing. All right. Cool, cool, cool. All right, so we're going to go back to the enemy, and now we need to make the enemy actually shoot some bullets. All right, so we got some more variables here. Shoot time min and shoot time range. So what is that? What that is the minimum amount of frames between an enemy shooting one bullet and its second bullet is 45 frames, so a little less than a second. And then, so it'll wait 3/4 of a second, and then up to 2 more seconds randomly when it's going to shoot its next bullet. And then we're going to set in the create alarm 0 equals shoot time min plus random shoot time range. So what that does, takes the minimum and then adds this range on top of it. So it'll either do a little less than a second or a little less than 3 seconds.
What does the random function do?
The random function, thanks Jared, just gives you a random number from 0 to the number you give it. It'll actually also be a decimal point, but it doesn't really matter in this case. So in the create, shoot time min, underscore, min equals 45, shoot time range equals 120. Alarm 0 equals, and this part is shoot time min plus random shoot time range. All right, now in alarm 0, so the alarms are specific to each object, so this won't interfere with the player's alarm. Shoot bullet. And we're just gonna create instance. Why isn't that working? Create.
Instance create. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. Instance create. I should have known better. X, and then bbox bottom because we want it to appear at the bottom of the object. Depth can just be 0, and obj underscore enemy bullet. And now we need to reset the alarm. So I'm just going to go back to create and copy paste sync code. So you know what? I'm going to introduce scripts because, generally you don't want to have like just the same line of code twice if you can avoid it. So I'm going to show you guys how to make a script real quick.
So you right-click script.
Yeah, you right-click script, new script, and then you can name it right here. Enemy timer reset. Jeez, I did it again. Enemy timer reset. This line. Okay. And you know what? I'm also going to move these variables into the script. And I'm just going to call them var. Oopsie. So now this will work. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do another new thing. I'm going to leave these here, and I'm going to show you guys how arguments for scripts works when you want to make your own scripts, because that's really useful in GameMaker. If I was like writing this game for Game Jam myself, I actually would have done more stuff in scripts because it keeps things neater. It, like how Jared was talking about splitting up the code into different files, so to speak. It's very helpful for that, just to keep things manageable, so it's not just one giant spaghetti line of code. Things are more put together. So we're going to make it, so the reason I'm writing it this way, say we had different types of enemies with the different recharge, they could just pass their own values to these arguments. So I'm going to make shoot time min equal argument 0. And shoot time range equals argument 1. I'm also going to put var in front of these because that means they won't interfere with any existing values in the object, and these copies will not exist after the object is done. So that is how arguments work for scripts, and now I can just, in both of these places,
Wait, Tabor,
yes.
is there a limit on how many arguments you can have?
Hey James, is there a limit to how many arguments a script can have? Is the limit like 10?
I thought it was 16.
16?
That's true in 1.4, but I don't know about version 2.
Okay, I don't know for sure. The limit might be 16. If you're writing functions with 16 arguments anyway,
God bless
clean it up. Clean it up.
More power to you.
Yeah. Enemy, timer, reset, shoot, time min, shoot, time range. Say it, come again? Good question. Why is it in the alarm?
Hey, Tabor,
Yes?
should one of those be shoot and one of them be shot? No, they should both be shoot.
No, they should both be shot, but anyway, good catch. No, I made them both shoot. I mean, I made one. I'm stupid, is the issue. I'm making them both shot.
We don't want to change it in the script then, too.
How do I get so dumb, guys?
Hey, no, Andy, right.
Huh?
It's not a
All right.
coding demonstration if there aren't
And in the
6
argument there.
You're right. Okay.
And in the first argument.
The argument
Nope,
is-
come back.
What are you saying?
The
argument-
shot time in the function call.
What's the issue?
First
Line
parameter.
13.
You have shoot instead of shot.
That's the last one.
Okay. Is everyone still following along despite my philandering about? Okay, time. Gotcha. All right. Well,
When you can.
yeah, it's. Oh, they start shooting. Ah!
It's raining.
Ah! It's raining. Oh, I got hit. Oh, I got one.
Presenters back.
Oh, and now I'm going to purposely get hit to make sure I can die. I died! All right, so we're running short on time, so that'll be it for GameMaker for now. But you have the basis of a game that I think you guys would know how to add on to now. You went over the basics of the engine. Does anyone have any questions about the game or about GameMaker in general? How you would do a certain thing?
And do not be afraid to speak
I
up.
talked about F1. Okay, I'll remind them about F1, sure. So any questions about GameMaker? Hi, Katie. How do you program slopes? I actually might, during the year, do some collision tutorial in GameMaker because people have trouble with collision in GameMaker sometimes. I probably won't do tile sloped collisions because there's a lot.